Once upon a time, in a bustling gym filled with sweat, grunting, and heavy weights being lifted, a particularly arrogant black belt decided to challenge the gym's quiet, seemingly humble cleaner to a friendly fight. Little did the black belt suspect that he was about to uncover a truth that would turn the gym's usual routine on its head. Under the studio's fluorescent lights, the air crackled with anticipation. As students chatted in hushed voices, teachers loitered at the edges of the mats, their watchful eyes often flitting toward Janelle, the studio's enigmatic black cleaner, her serene presence a contrast to the commotion around her. She alone seemed unaware of the stir she'd caused. Janelle had long been an invisible presence in the studio, quietly toiling away in the shadows, her movements as soft and soundless as a falling snowflake. She had learned to blend into the background, discreetly sweeping and scrubbing while the students practiced their forms and kicks, fading into the periphery, a whisper of a person, keeping her head down and her gaze averted, as if she didn't want to be seen or remembered. But today, she was under the spotlight, a limelight she never sought. On this particular night, the unspoken agreement to overlook Janelle's presence was shattered. Kai Thornton, the resident golden boy of the studio, had spotted her. He was a black belt, lauded for his talent, but infamous for his ego, his recklessness, and his insatiable appetite for the spotlight. And so, when his eyes landed on the mild-mannered cleaner, an opportunity to grandstand presented itself. With the craftiness of a showman, Kai tapped the shoulder of his entourage, drawing their attention to the unsuspecting Janelle. A wolfish grin spread across his face as he announced his intentions for the entire room to hear. "You won't believe this. I'm about to ask our cleaner here for a friendly spar, just for a bit of fun. Just watch." His words were tinged with arrogance, laced with a hint of cruelty. The guffaws that escaped his friends' mouths were a testament to Kai's reputation as the gym's resident daredevil. "You're insane, bro," one of them jeered. "She probably wouldn't even know how to land a single punch." "Exactly," Kai replied with an air of nonchalance. "I'll make it look easy. My fans will love it." Kai sauntered towards Janelle, sporting a grin that concealed his true intentions like a wolf's predatory grin before the pounce. "Hey there," he greeted her, his tone falsely warm, the kind that made people lower their guard. "We're having a little fun today. How'd you like to do a friendly spar?" "Nothing difficult, just a bit of a match." Janelle stiffened, her grip tightening on the cleaning rag and bucket, her expression transforming from neutral to something indecipherable. "I'm working," Janelle responded quietly. Kai responded with a laugh that echoed across the room. "Just for a minute. Come on, it'll be a bit of fun. Everyone's watching." And that was precisely the truth. The entire studio had shifted their attention to Janelle. Some already had their phones out, their eager fingers hovering over the record button. The scene was set. "I don't want any trouble," Janelle exhaled, her words measured, cautious. With a hand still outstretched, Kai pushed the padded gloves closer to her. "Totally harmless, I promise. I'll take it easy," he assured her. But the condescension in his voice was unmistakable. The studio was so silent that you could almost hear the gears of thought churning in Janelle's mind. Then she moved, and the entire studio gasped. Her actions reverberated through the studio, quiet, yet thunderous in their significance. With a measured calm, Janelle placed down the bucket and consented with a measured, "Okay, 1 minute." The studio erupted in astonished gasps as Kai's grin widened into a triumphant sneer. "Perfect," he purred, gesturing towards the ring. "Step in." And the sparring match began. Janelle's footsteps across the mat seemed to alter the very fabric of the air itself. The silence she carried with her was like a gravitational pull, magnetizing the eyes and the ears of every spectator in the room. It was as if the gym's walls were leaning closer, straining to catch every detail of this unfolding drama. Kai, on the other hand, embodied a stark contrast to the spell Janelle had cast. He bounced on his toes with restless energy, the casual confidence of a man who'd already declared himself the victor before the fight had even started. Kai's taunting question hung in the air, floating above Janelle's calm demeanor. But she refused to take the bait. Instead, the studio erupted in astonished gasps as Kai's grin widened into a triumphant sneer. "Perfect," he purred, gesturing towards the ring. "Step in." And the sparring match began. Janelle's footsteps across the mat seemed to alter the very fabric of the air itself. The silence she carried with her was like a gravitational pull, magnetizing the eyes and the ears of every spectator in the room. It was as if the gym's walls were leaning closer, straining to catch every detail of this unfolding drama. Kai, on the other hand, embodied a stark contrast to the spell Janelle had cast. He bounced on his toes with restless energy, the casual confidence of a man who'd already declared himself the victor before the fight had even started. Kai's taunting question hung in the air, floating above Janelle's calm demeanor. But she refused to take the bait, instead only be the result of years of practice, her agility reminiscent of a gazelle effortlessly evading its pursuer. The murmur of shock and intrigue that echoed through the crowd was palpable, even as Kai tried again, this time with increased speed. But she was like quicksilver, her body finding its way out of reach as effortlessly as if she were dancing. Kai's playful smile faltered as he caught the subtle nuance in her movements. The question escaped his lips almost involuntarily. "Hold on. You trained before?" As Janelle maintained her stoic silence, the fire of Kai's wounded pride fueled his determination to conquer, to dominate. He let loose a quick jab, aiming at her shoulder, the speed and force of the blow no longer playful or teasing, but real. Janelle, as if anticipating the exact trajectory of the attack, shifted her body with the fluidity of water. Her foot pivoted, her hand lifted ever so slightly. Before Kai could even comprehend what was happening, Janelle had captured his wrist, seamlessly diverting the momentum of his assault away from her, not seeking to harm or even shove, but merely to guide. The room erupted in a flurry of hushed whispers, speculation, and disbelief intertwined. "What the hell? Did she really? No way!" Kai, his face ablaze with embarrassment, spun around on his heels, the smirk on his lips now replaced by a sneer of contempt. With the unveiling of Janelle's skill came an even deeper plunge into the depths of Kai's wounded pride. "All right, let's see what you're really made of," he hissed through gritted teeth, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches that came at Janelle with blistering speed. But she danced away from each strike with the fluidity of smoke, her movements more a product of intuition and rigorous training than mere reflexes. Her eyes remained locked on his shoulders, her breathing slow and even, betraying no hint of exertion. The serenity that Janelle exuded, the zen-like calm that radiated from her, was a decoy that concealed the storm of technique and training that lay dormant inside her. And that's when Kai made the fatal mistake. Blinded by pride and anger, he threw a powerful roundhouse kick, swift and devastating, aimed at Janelle's midsection. But instead of retreating, Janelle stepped into the arc of his attack, a move almost too quick to follow with the naked eye. Her left hand made a gentle yet purposeful contact with his shin. The entire studio erupted in a chorus of disbelief, their voices a cacophony of incredulity. "No way! She took him down! What on earth just happened?" Janelle retreated, giving Kai space to regain his bearings, and as Kai lay on the mat, dazed and bewildered, his perception of the world he'd inhabited so confidently just on a seismic shift. He reined in him before, but with a tremor of uncertainty. "Janelle, where did you train?" The instructor's question hung in the air like a thread waiting to be woven into the fabric of the truth. She paused, as if the memories threatened to overwhelm her. "My father, he taught me." The mere mention of her father seemed to cast a shadow over the room. "He was a national champion before he passed," she continued, her voice low and reverential. "He trained me since I was 5. I was a fighter once," she explained, a wistful quality tinting her words, "but life threw some curveballs, and fighting couldn't provide the stability I needed. Cleaning might not be glamorous, but it pays the bills." Her honesty was a dagger of realization that pierced the hearts of the gathered audience, unraveling the spectacle they had been so eager to witness. As the mist of self-reflection rolled over Kai, He understood the heart and the assumptions he'd so carelessly made. Janelle's face softened, like a warm breeze dissipating the lingering chill of the prior conflict. "It's okay. You didn't know," she replied with the compassion of someone well acquainted with adversity. Then, one of the young students, an unexpected ray of sunshine in this otherwise cloudy situation, stepped forward and asked, "Miss Janelle, can you teach us some moves?" A genuine smile, the first of the night, graced her lips. "Maybe, if the owner allows it." Kai's admission, "Never judge someone by what they look like or what they do for a living," seemed to reverberate throughout the studio, touching everyone present. Janelle nodded in agreement, her eyes glinting with the calm strength of someone who'd emerged triumphant from life's hardest battles. "Everyone has a story," she echoed. "You never know what someone has endured or what they're capable of." With a simple gesture, Janelle picked up her apron, retying it around her waist as if slipping back into the armor of anonymity she'd worn for so long. But to the eyes of the studio's occupants, she'd shed that apron of invisibility and was no longer simply the cleaner. She was a fighter who had shocked and humbled them all. She was a woman whose strength had been tempered by hardships that few could fathom. She was a survivor whose resilience transcended any lesson that could be taught in the martial arts.